Hello, everybody, and welcome to another 5-Minute Friday. My name is Jade Alberts, an ambassador down here in Calgary, and I am sitting just on the Bow River, so hopefully I don't fall backwards and fall into it. Otherwise, Pierre is going to be on his own. But today, we're excited to talk to Pierre, the founder of Neuraura. How are you today?
I'm super good, Jade. Thanks for having me here.
No, absolutely. I mean, I'm at the river, you're in Victoria on island, so this is going to be a good chat, I think.
Yeah, I understand if you're jealous of where I am. That's okay.
Yes, I am. There's no doubt there. Well, why don't we get after it right away? Like, why don't you introduce yourself a little bit and tell us why you founded Neuraura?
Yeah, absolutely. So, as you say, my name is Pierre Wijdenes, but such a complicated family name that Pierre is great. I'm originally from France, as you can recognize from my accent. Came to Calgary because I was passionate about brain-machine interface, neuromodulation, and could really see how humanity was getting transformed by new technologies in the space. These movies we have of Terminator and the integration of machines and humans together is something that fascinated me. But obviously, the applications can be tremendous for people that suffer from Parkinson's disease, depressions, addictions, Alzheimer, epilepsy, etc. And I really wanted to have an impact in the field. So I decided to do my PhD here in Calgary because we actually are one of the world-class center in Calgary for epilepsy. And so tons of very, very good labs and research being done in our backyard, really. And then out of the work that we did, we realized we had developed a technology that could listen to the brain better. And so what that allows us to do is when you start to listen better, then you can talk better as well. And so you talk with stimulation. And we realized that the technology we had could have an impact in the field of implants. And we thought, let's create a company because this is how we're going to have an impact. And so originally we were just two co-founders, Claire, our third co-founder, joined us after because we realized we were two nerdy scientists with no business acumen and we really, really needed some help. And thank God we met Claire. And through CDL, so the Creative Destruction Lab program, we created the company and we really told ourselves, let's see how far we go. Let's see how far we can bring that technology out and impact patients' life.
And I remember when we met, and again, it was good to see Claire last night in person again. So if she's watching, hello, Claire. But I was really passionate about your project, and we'll talk a little bit about the summit that you were in. But where have you gone in the last, from, let's say we met about 1.5 years ago, how far have you come along with your company?
Yeah, so, I think COVID has impacted many business, and it has really taught us a lot of lessons and a lot of resilience. But even though this difficult time, I think I'm super proud of our team and what we have managed to accomplish. Like, we really reached some incredible milestones. Over the last few years, so we have raised a bit more capital from clinicians like neurologists and neurosurgeons across the US. And we are talking about clinicians that don't only do work in epilepsy, but also do work in psychiatry, that do work in DBS for Parkinson, etc. And that really kind of created that networks of clinicians that back us up with their own money for the company. And that's obviously something that excites us a lot because it tells us that the doctors really put the money where the mouth is. And so that is something quite unique, we think. And then, through some of the round that we have done, we have also pushed the technology further and actually demonstrated the superiority of our electrodes in a large animal study. And so that large animal study is actually being conducted in Melbourne, in Australia, with some of the partners. And so everything is managed remotely. The borders are starting to reopen and we'll be able to travel very soon to see them and continue the work with them there. But really what we have done is actually compare the efficacy of our sensors to listen to the brain with the clinical standard today. And to our knowledge, there hasn't been any study done like that worldwide. It was the first time that someone really demonstrated this in a large animal study to compare electrode efficacy. And the results were much better than we actually expected, generated a lot of interest with investors and strategics. And so right now we are in a lot of discussion with some of them to discuss some potential partnership deals and really see that how a technology can be integrated with the manufacturing chains or then down the line also impact patients. So, we are ambitious. We have a big agenda, and there's a lot of things we want to do, and there's a lot of like tiny steps in the middle. And I think we have reached a lot of those tiny steps and some major ones over the last few years.
Oh, that's excellent progress. So where do you see yourself going over once these studies are done? What's next for Neuraura?
Yeah, like what interests us a lot is once you have the sensors that you can actually sense the brain properly, how do you stimulate, and how do you stimulate over time, right? It's one thing to build an electrode that stays in the patient's brain for, a few hours to a few days, a few weeks, but it's something else when you have a device that stays in the body for years. And so what we are working on after these electrodes on the technical side is really about how do you extend the implantation of those electrodes and do stimulation, but how do you do smart stimulation? How do you create implants that really adapt the stimulation based on what they listen from the brain? So on the technical side, that's really where we're going to go. And then, of course, like in terms of regulatory, because we are a medical device company, it's all about de-risking the path to market with the regulatory FDA, etc. And so for that, we have different market segments that we decided to tap into. Then we refine our strategy. We start first with what's called intraoperative monitoring, and then we move to what's called semi-chronic to up to 30 days, and then down the line for several years. So it's different approaches that we have on the regulatory side. And then to be able to do that, we really believe in the support we can get from strategics, like people who have been there that are already present in the market, and that we can tap into their own distribution channels and help them as well develop better implants. So we really see that this technology could really see the light and have been patients maybe for the first application in about, a year from now.
It's amazing. You were one of the first life sciences companies that we invested in, and now we just wrapped up yesterday our first life sciences summit. And some of the amazing things that are going on in this province that we're getting to see through Startup TNT is just priceless. So we just love what you guys are doing, and I think it just goes to show how powerful that the life science market is here. Absolutely,
I think it's incredible. Like I was studying with some of the companies as well, going through the TNT program, going through TNT competitions as well. Like the ecosystem is growing, and I think like the ecosystem has allowed people to express themselves more through their companies as well. And there's tons of innovation that are now people are thinking, oh, maybe it can be me. Maybe I can create a company too, and maybe we can have a product. Yeah, that product, there is a demand. We know it, so let's do it. It becomes less scary because more and more people do it. It's almost like, I think the view on entrepreneurship in life science is changing in Calgary. It's not about, oh, should we do it here? It's about why are you not doing it yet? Right? Like, what are you waiting? And that is super exciting to see in our community.
Yes, no, absolutely. And again, I know we're probably going to be doing another one next year as there are so many great companies, and I'm sure some of the ones that we saw that might have been a little early this time are probably going to be in the running to win next time. But, thank you so much for coming on here, Pierre, and sharing your story and giving us an update about Neuraura. And we're excited to be on this journey with you. So thanks again.
Thanks for having me, and thanks to the community. That's really what makes it happen.
Oh, that's so right. So true. And again, I hope you have yourself a good day, and we'll talk later.
Thank you so much, Jane. Bye. Okay.